AITA for refusing to let my boss's kids eat my food? Okay, so I, 19F, moved from Brazil to the US in February for an au pair job. If you've never heard of the program, it's basically you come over to live with a family, watch their kids, and in exchange, they give you a place to stay, food, and a small weekly stipend. Like I make $196 a week. Yeah. That's what people are paying me to raise their kids and clean their dishes. I was super excited when I got matched with this family in Connecticut, 2 kids, ages 6 and 8. The house looked like it came out of a Crate and Barrel catalog, and I thought, okay, cool, this will be my American dream thing. It was not. From day one, they told me I had one cabinet. One. That was my food. It had a sticky note on it that literally said AU pair only, like I was some stray dog they were sheltering, and inside, shelf-stable sadness. Tortillas, 2 cans of peas, a bulk pack of instant mac and cheese, and maybe some black beans. No snacks, no drinks, not even a packet of ketchup. I'm not exaggerating. They said I couldn't touch anything else in the kitchen. Like, there's a literal fridge full of groceries, and I was told, word for word, this is for the family. You have your items. Oh, and then they mentioned the cameras. I don't know if they're bluffing or not, but apparently they can see if I try to sneak anything, like I was about to run off with their blueberries or something. I talked to my agency and they said it's technically legal, as long as I'm being fed something. So I could either try to rematch with another family, which can take weeks, or go home. But I didn't want to throw everything away, so I just stayed. I started using part of my $196 to buy extra stuff I actually wanted to eat. Chips Ahoy, cup noodles, some jerky, granola bars, a small bag of cheese, things that didn't spoil because I didn't have fridge access. I started hiding them in my room too because I was low-key scared. Here's where it gets messy. The kids started asking about my food. I never offered it. I never waved cookies in their face like a psycho. But I'm around them all day. So when I'm eating a snack during their nap or homework time, sometimes they see it. The 8-year-old, let's call her Ellie, started asking me if she could try some of my chocolate circle cookies, aka Chips Ahoy. I told her gently, that's something you'll have to ask your mom about. She did. Big mistake. Their mom comes storming into the playroom later that night while I'm organizing puzzles with the 6-year-old. No knocking, no warning. She goes, did you seriously tell my child to ask me for junk food? I didn't even know what to say at first. She didn't give me a chance to explain either. She just kept going. You live in this house, you're part of this household, and you're going to sit here and eat garbage in front of my children and then deny them food? Who do you think you are? Like, lady, I'm barely affording the garbage. I tried to say, I only have limited snacks because I buy them myself, and I don't have enough to share. She cuts me off again. Then don't eat in front of them. Or eat what we provide. Not that processed poison, it's disrespectful. Disrespectful? You gave me 2 cans of corn and a prayer. What am I supposed to do, whip up a gourmet casserole from air? I was polite. Too polite, honestly. I said, I'd be happy to share my snacks if I was allowed to eat from the family food too. It's just hard to afford enough for everyone on my budget. She didn't like that. Her eyes did the whole suburban mom squint and she said, you're lucky we need you right now. Then walked out. That was it. No apology, no change, just threat and silence. I told my parents and they're kinda siding with me, but also said maybe I shouldn't have eaten in front of the kids knowing they weren't allowed to have it. My au pair friends, most of them said I was being selfish. You can't say no to kids when they ask for food, one said. That's cold. Another one was like, dude, you're in their house. You play by their rules. But what about my food? My body? I'm not a vending machine. Why is it so normalized that I should be okay with being hungry so their kids don't feel left out? So yeah, AITA for saying no when the kids asked to eat my snacks? And would I be dumb AF to keep bringing junk into the house after she told me not to? So a few days after the cookie incident, everything was weirdly quiet, like painfully polite energy from both parents. No good morning, no asking how the kids were, just dry the kids need to be picked up at 3 text messages and awkward smiles. I figured maybe they cooled off and just didn't want to talk about it anymore. I was wrong. They were just tag-teaming the drama. I go to pick up the kids from school like usual, and when we get back, the dad, who I rarely see cause he works long hours in the city, was home, middle of the day, in a Patagonia fleece and slippers, leaning against the kitchen counter like he was waiting for me. Hey, he says, flat. Can we talk in the living room? Now, I'm not even technically supposed to be alone in the house with just the dad. It's a cultural thing from my agency. We're advised to keep those boundaries, but I didn't want to make a scene, so I was like, sure. He sits down and goes, we need to revisit this food situation because it's really upsetting my wife and disrupting our home. Disrupting? Bro, your fridge has more food than a Whole Foods aisle. No one is starving in this house except me. He goes, You've created a dynamic where our children are suddenly obsessed with processed snacks. They've never asked for cookies or chips before you came, and now every day it's, can we have Pringles? Can we have jerky? It's manipulative. Manipulative? I was literally just chewing. I told him calmly, I understand your concern, but I'm not encouraging them. I always redirect them back to you. I never promise or offer anything. He leans forward like he's about to drop some courtroom drama line and says, but the exposure is the offer. What does that even mean? I asked. So, what do you expect me to do? Eat in the garage? He pauses, dead serious. We think it's best if you limit your snacking to your bedroom. And please be discreet when disposing wrappers. Ellie found a cookie wrapper in the trash and had a meltdown. A meltdown? Overseeing a Chips Ahoy wrapper? And then he goes, also, I reviewed your grocery receipts you left on the table. You're spending nearly half your stipend on junk. That doesn't reflect well on your judgment as a caregiver. Oh, so now they're auditing me? I said, with all due respect, that stipend doesn't cover real food. And I only buy snacks because I'm hungry and I literally don't have fridge access. He cuts me off, smiling like he's doing me a favor and says, we've been discussing alternatives. We're willing to put a mini fridge in your room so you can store your items without tempting the kids. That's a fair compromise, don't you think? I just nodded, because what else could I do? But inside, I was screaming. A mini fridge, like I'm in a college dorm? This is not a fair compromise. This is shut up and be quiet, disguised as kindness. The next day, the fridge shows up, tiny little cube shoved between my bed and dresser. They didn't even ask where I wanted it. They just put it there and left, like some weird hotel amenity. And then came the kicker. 2 days later, I get an email from the agency. Yes, an email, saying the family filed a concern that I was undermining their household values by bringing in unauthorized food. They weren't kicking me out, but they wanted it on record. You know what that does? That flags me. Other host families can see that in the system if I ever try to rematch. So now I've got a little red difficult label next to my name because I didn't want to live off bean cans. And before anyone says, why didn't you just eat their food? I tried. I asked. I was told no. I was told you have your items. So I respected that. But apparently respecting the rules and being hungry is still a problem. Also, let's not forget, these kids are not starving. They eat yogurt pouches, grilled salmon, steamed veggies, and organic pasta daily. They're not missing nutrition. They just want a damn cookie once in a while. I even tried talking to the mom again. I said, I understand the concern, but would it be okay if I kept my snacks in a tote bag instead of the fridge, just so they don't see it? You know what she said? She said, that's not the issue anymore. It's about tone. It's the way you talk to them. They feel you're dismissive. Dismissive? Because I said, ask your mom. Because I didn't give them Pringles. I don't even know what to do anymore. I came here to learn English and experience another culture, and I'm just hiding snacks in my pillowcase like I'm in snack prison. So now I'm wondering, boo I BTA if I actually stopped buying snacks altogether and just made it their problem? No more temptation, right? But then, I'd be stuck with tortillas and canned peas again. Also, real question, was I really manipulative like they said? I didn't even talk about the food with the kids unless they asked me first, because now I feel like I'm the villain in this organic suburban nightmare. Alright, so I was trying to just survive at this point. I had my sad little mini fridge next to my bed humming louder than my will to live, filled with like string cheese, peanut butter, a sad half-eaten salad from Trader Joe's, and some off-brand soda I could afford on sale. I wasn't even eating fun snacks anymore, just whatever didn't feel like a punishment. I was trying to lay low. No Chips Ahoy, no wrappers in the trash, no Pringles Gate 2.0, but the vibe in the house? Still tense, like sitcom family right before a Thanksgiving meltdown. Then one morning, I'm walking the kids to the bus stop. This is like a 5-minute walk down a leafy neighborhood street, real picture-perfect suburbia, and Ellie starts talking about how her mom cried last night. I go, oh, was something wrong? She goes, Mom said she's a bad mom because she lets us eat too much sometimes and we'll end up like Grandma. I asked, what do you mean by that? And she just shrugs. She said Grandma got fat and now she's dead. What? Dead? That's not even true. I've met their grandma. She's alive and has a garden and everything. She literally gave me lavender soap the first week I arrived. So now I'm like, okay, what the hell is this house on? I tell my agency contact about it in our weekly check-in, and she goes, yeah, it sounds like food and body image might be a sensitive subject for the host mom. Some families have those boundaries. Boundaries? It's starting to feel more like generational trauma with a Whole30 meal plan. Later that night, I'm unloading the dishwasher and the mom, let's call her Claire, walks in holding a Ziploc bag of carrots and asks if I've noticed any changes in the kids' energy. I say, they've been a little more irritable, but nothing extreme. They're kids. She sighs and says, I think the sugar withdrawal is really hitting them. Hold up, Sugar withdrawal? Are they in detox or something? Apparently, she's put the whole family on a reset. No sugar, no gluten, no dairy, no processed anything for the next 30 days. She read it in some Goop-inspired blog and decided it was non-negotiable. So now I'm being asked not only to not eat snacks around the kids, but also to cook reset-approved lunches for them using her ingredients and this laminated meal plan she printed from some bougie wellness site. I'm talking quinoa bowls, cauliflower hummus, veggie wraps with raw beets. One time she made me shred zucchini into their oatmeal. Zucchini. I don't know if you've ever watched a 6-year-old sob over green oatmeal, but it changes you. Meanwhile, I'm living off peanut butter toast and gas station trail mix in my room like I'm in exile. The kids are crying about how they miss pizza, and I'm lying to them saying, it'll taste better when you get used to it, like I'm brainwashing them into liking broccoli foam. And then the dad decides to have a check-in with me again. We're in the garage this time, I guess to keep the kids from hearing. I don't know. He starts going on about how they trust me but are struggling with the influence I have. Then he says it. We're trying to raise our kids to have a healthy relationship with food. Claire struggled with disordered eating when she was younger, and we don't want to create those same triggers. Boom, that's it. That's the core. And like, okay, I get that. I do. I know what it's like to grow up with a complicated relationship to food. My mom used to call me chubby if I went back for seconds. It's hard, but I'm also not their therapist. I'm not the reason their kids want cookies. Cookies exist. The kids are 8. They have friends. They've seen Oreos before. So I ask him, is this about the snacks or about something else? And this dude, this fully grown fleece vest finance guy, just looks down and goes, Claire can't control a lot of things, but she can control the food in this house. It's important that you don't undermine that. That was probably the most honest thing anyone in that house has said to me. But like, am I really undermining her if I eat a damn granola bar on the back porch? I'm not sneaking gummy bears into the kids' lunchboxes or teaching them how to boil ramen in secret. I just don't want to starve. The thing that gets me the most? Claire keeps calling me part of the family. Like, your family, we want you to feel at home here. But I'm not allowed to eat their grapes. I'm family, but I get assigned a cabinet like I'm a tenant in a Craigslist basement. One time I forgot to label my almond milk and she left a note in the fridge. Please don't put your items in the family fridge without permission. Thanks, Claire. I live here. I cook for your kids. I wipe their butts and help with their spelling homework. But I can't store a $2.49 their almond milk next to your cage-free eggs. So now I'm seriously wondering if I should just start the rematch process. But then again, what if the next family is worse? What if I get some QAnon doomsday preppers who live in a cabin and make me churn butter? I don't know. All I wanted was to learn English, take a couple community college classes, and eat a damn cookie in peace. So now I'm asking, would I be the asshole if I just told the kids flat out, I'm not allowed to give you anything and I can't talk about it? Just stonewall them every time they ask? Or should I keep pretending I'm fine living in a health cult with a snack curfew? Because either way, this ain't what I signed up for. So, after weeks of playing food diplomat in this Whole30 nightmare house, things were kind of coasting. Not good, just frozen in this awkward standoff where I was fake smiling through quinoa lunches and whisper eating peanut butter in my room like a raccoon. Then the school called. No joke. The actual elementary school called my phone during lunchtime. I didn't recognize the number, thought it might be spam, but I answered anyway. It's the guidance counselor. She goes, "Hi, are you my name? I just wanted to touch base about Ellie. She said some things in class today that raised a couple concerns." I froze, because when a school calls and says a kid said some things, that never means she said you're awesome and gave her a sticker. So I'm like, okay, what did she say? The counselor's voice got all gentle and low, like I was about to be told someone died. She goes, "Ellie said she's only allowed to eat food if she earns it, that her mom checks her stomach in the morning. She also mentioned that you hide food in your room because you're not allowed to eat what they eat." I was dead silent, like full-blown statue mode, because, yeah, that is what's happening. But hearing it out loud like that, from a 6-year-old's mouth, I asked, wait, she said all that? The counselor goes, yes, she seemed very matter-of-fact. We don't think she's in danger, but we wanted to document it and notify the household. Document it. Notify the household. That's when I knew I was completely, irreversibly screwed. By the time I got back home, Claire was already waiting at the kitchen island, arms folded, hair in a bun so tight it looked like she had a facelift. The second I walked in, she just said, "You had one job? One." I didn't even know what to say. I mean, what was the job? To be invisible? To eat quietly? To unexist? She starts unloading. "You have completely undermined the structure of this household," she says. "You made me look unfit to my child's school. You've turned food into a battle, and I trusted you." Then she says, "Did you really hide snacks in your room?" I go, yes, because you said I wasn't allowed to eat anywhere else. She looks me dead in the face and goes, that's not what I meant. I meant be discreet, not hide it like a criminal. Cool, so now I'm a snack criminal. Great. She starts crying like actual tears, and I honestly started to feel bad. Until she said this, I had an eating disorder from age 13 to 25. I worked hard to have control, and now my kids are asking for fucking Oreos because of you. And that's when I snapped. I said, then maybe talk to your therapist, not your nanny. I'm 19. I'm not your emotional support Brazilian. I shouldn't have said it, but I was done. She stopped crying real fast, like switch flipped silence. She goes, you can stay until we find a replacement, but this is no longer working. The next day, I get another email from the agency. Host family is requesting rematch. Please begin transition process. Just like that. And look, I know I could have handled things better. I could have kept my mouth shut. I could have eaten in the bathroom like some au pair horror story I read online. But I also don't think I'm the devil here. I didn't starve their kids. I didn't poison them. I didn't introduce them to fentanyl. I gave them a visual of a granola bar and apparently destroyed their entire household dynamic. Even the kids started acting weird after that. Ellie wouldn't hug me anymore. The 6-year-old asked me if I was getting fired. I told him, no, I'm just going somewhere else. And he looked so confused, like, why? You didn't do anything wrong. And that hit harder than anything Claire or the dad said. Because yeah, I wasn't perfect. But all I did was exist with a different relationship to food than they did. And that was too much, so now I'm in a weird in-between. Agency said they'll help me find a new family, but it could take up to 2 weeks. Claire wants me gone ASAP. She's been leaving passive-aggressive notes like, please refrain from storing items in common areas, even though my stuff is literally just my suitcase in a corner. The vibe is beyond awkward, like I'm a ghost haunting their kitchen. Nobody talks to me unless it's about schedules. And don't even get me started on the fridge. I opened it yesterday to grab carrots for the kids' lunches, and Claire had labeled everything, even the carrots. Like Claire's baby carrots, as if I was about to run off and elope with her produce. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm not even mad anymore, I'm just tired. But I keep thinking about something the counselor said on the phone. Kids talk about what they notice, they see more than people think. And I wonder, if Ellie hadn't said anything, would I still be in that house, hiding snacks in my pillowcase and pretending it was normal? The last few days in that house were the weirdest, slowest breakup I've ever experienced, with a whole-ass family. Not just the parents, but the house itself. Even the way the stairs creaked started to annoy me, like the house was judging me too. The agency told me they found a new host family in Massachusetts. A single mom, 2 kids, much more chill. They were still doing the background checks and final paperwork, but I had to pack and be out by Friday. Claire wanted me gone. The email didn't say it, but I could tell they were trying to make it sound mutual. It wasn't. She 100% pushed me out the door. I started slowly packing up my room. It was depressing. I'd only been there for 3 months, but it looked like I'd been trying to live there. Empty snack wrappers in my sock drawer, little Portuguese English flashcards taped to my mirror, notes from the kids on my dresser like thank you for making me smile today, with backwards R's and stick figure hearts. Then came Thursday. Claire didn't say a single word to me all morning. She left a checklist on the counter titled Room Departure Cleanup Expectations, like I was a hotel guest. She even highlighted the part that said, all surfaces must be wiped with approved disinfectant spray. Not just cleaned, approved. Because God forbid I use Windex and curse the vibes. But here's where it really hit me. Thursday evening, I went upstairs to put some clothes in my bag. I came back down and the kids were sitting on the couch with these weird, serious looks on their faces. Ellie's holding something behind her back. I ask what's up and she just blurts, why don't you like us anymore? I swear to God, my knees went weak. I sat down immediately. I said, what? What are you talking about? She goes, you're leaving, and you don't smile as much. Did we do something bad? I looked over and the 6-year-old was starting to tear up. I couldn't even process it. I mean, yeah, I was mad at their parents, but these kids were just kids. Good kids. Annoying sometimes, yeah, but kind and curious and funny and innocent. I told them, you didn't do anything wrong, I promise. This isn't your fault. Ellie sniffled and said, Mom said sometimes people aren't a good fit. I said, yeah, that's true, but it's not because I don't like you. I just need to go somewhere where I can feel happy too. Then she pulls out the thing she was hiding behind her back. It was a drawing. She had made a comic strip, like little panels with dialogue. Stick figures labeled me, you, Mom, and Dad. In the comic, you is crying while eating a cookie. Mom is yelling. Me gives you a hug and says, it's okay, you can eat cookies with me. At the bottom she wrote, I will miss you. I think you are good. And I just lost it. Full-blown ugly crying in front of 2 children. snot, everything. Not cute. I hugged them both and couldn't even get a full sentence out. Just kept saying thank you and I'll miss you too. The next morning, Claire wouldn't even look me in the eye. She was acting like I had traumatized the kids, when in reality, her own rules and paranoia were what made this whole thing fall apart. The dad helped me load my suitcase in the Uber, and all he said was, "Sorry it didn't work out, you're a good kid." And that made me angry, honestly. Because if they knew I wasn't the problem, then why did they still treat me like I was? Why did they let me leave feeling like I had to apologize for being hungry? When I got to the new house, the host mom actually asked me what kind of foods I liked. She showed me the fridge, told me which shelves were mine, and said, "You don't have to ask before eating, just let me know if we run out of anything you like." I almost cried again. Over yogurt. That's where I'm at. So yeah, that's the end of it. I still think about those kids sometimes. Wonder if they're still on that no sugar, no gluten kick. If Claire is still labeling carrots. If Ellie remembers the comic she made. I still have it, by the way. I folded it into my notebook before I left. Do I think I was the perfect au pair? No. I could have been more careful. Maybe more sensitive. Maybe not snapped when I did. But was I manipulative? No. Was I disrespectful? Not even close. I was 19, broke, and trying to survive in a house where string cheese was considered contraband. So to the people saying I'm the AH for not sharing snacks with the kids, try living off 2 cans of beans and a family's food trauma for 3 months, then get back to me. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.